Hello everyone. In this video, we will be discussing about storaging of thermal energy. Energy storage has an enormous influence on the overall system, cost, performance, and reliability. Its design affects the basic elements such as the collector or the thermal distribution system. That is why it is very important to choose the correct energy storage. Storage has mainly two functions. First one is to improve the utilization of the collected solar energy, providing thermal capacitance to minimize the load mismatch. And the next one is the improvement of the system efficiency by preventing the array heat transfer fluid from quickly reaching high temperature. There are several storage technologies that can be used, and some of them can be combined to cover seasonal and daily fluctuations. Generally, solar energy can be stored in liquids, solids, or phase change materials. Water is the most frequently used storage medium for liquid systems because it is inexpensive, non-toxic, and it has a high storage capacity. In addition, the energy can be transported by the storage water itself without the need for extra heat exchangers. The usable energy stored in the water tank can be calculated as Q is equal to V rho Cp del T. Here V is the volume in the tank, rho is the density of water in the tank, Cp is the specific heat capacity of the fluid, and del T is the temperature range of operation. The temperature range of operation is limited at the low extreme for most applications by the requirement of the process. The upper limit may be determined by the process or the vapor pressure of the liquid or by heat loss. The heat loss of the tank can be determined by Q loss equal to UA del T, where A is the outside area of the tank and U is the global heat exchanger coefficient. The value of U gives the quality of insulation usually varies between 2 and 10 watt per Kelvin. The U is also a function of different media between which the heat exchange takes place. The same principle can be applied to the smaller or bigger systems. Smaller water energy storage can cover daily fluctuations and is usually in the form of tanks. On the other hand, bigger systems can be used as seasonal storage, typically in underground reservoirs. Other type of energy storage is called packed bed. It is based on heat storage in solids. It uses the heat capacity of a bed of loosely packed particulate material to store energy. A fluid, usually air, is circulated through the bed to add or remove energy. A variety of solids can be used, rocks being the most commonly used material. In the operation, the flow is maintained through the bed in one direction during the addition of heat and in the opposite direction during removal. A packed bed in a solar heating system does not normally operate with a constant inlet temperature. During the day, the variable solar radiation, ambient temperature, collector inlet temperature, load requirements, and other time dependent conditions result in a variable collector outlet temperature. The bed is in general heated during the day with air from the collector, and the energy is removed during the evening and night by air temperature near 20 degrees Celsius flowing upward. Other way to store energy in solids is when thermal energy is provided in the walls and roofs of the buildings for storage. A case of particular interest is the collector storage wall, which is arranged so that solar radiation is transmitted through a glazing and the absorber in one side of the wall. The temperature of the wall then increases and the energy is transferred from the wall to the room by radiation and convection. Some of these walls are vented to facilitate natural convection even more. Next one is energy storage by phase change materials. In this method, the heat is stored as latent heat instead of sensible heat. Latent heat is the heat for phase change without any change in material temperature. The material used for energy storage via phase change must have high latent heat so that a large amount of energy can be used. In addition, the phase change must be reversible, being able to withstand many cycles. Then the heat can be stored in the material can be calculated using the formula shown in the slide. The material commonly used for this purpose are molten salt such as sodium sulfate, calcium chloride, magnesium chloride. This storage is generally used for high temperature applications. Some systems include boiler as a backup. Its main function is to provide the necessary energy when the solar power is not sufficient. It is basically a normal heater that adds the remaining heat needed to achieve the desired temperature. The boiler normally uses either natural gas or oil to function. We have discussed how to collect and store energy, but we also have to transport it. The, the collector circuit usually transport heat using either a liquid or a gas. The optimum medium should not freeze or boil at operational temperature. It should have a large specific heat capacity and low viscosity, and it should be non-toxic, cheap and abundant. The most common fluids then are water, oils or air. The flux can be either caused naturally by temperature gradients, forced by pump or a heat pipe in which the fluid is allowed to boil and condense again. The best choice will depend on the specific system considered. And it must be taken into account that the pipes are very long. The losses here can be considerable. So the pipeline length would have to be minimized. The system also has a controller in the circuit that regulates the fluxes of the fluid through the collector, the storage and the boiler to assure the desired temperature. The most common applications for this solar water heater system is to produce warm water and space heating for household industry. That's all for today's lecture. Thank you.